Hey everybody, how you doing this evening? Thank you for joining us for another episode of the panel. I have the Menace here with me. How you doing, Menace?
What's going on? What's going on, Malika? How everybody feeling today? What's going on,
Yeah,
chat? Hope everybody feeling good.
awesome. I hope y'all out there feeling good too, because I damn sure am. Um,
Yes, sir.
so, so let's kick off some of these topics. We're gonna wait, and other people will probably jump in, so the panel will grow exponentially before the meeting is over. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Nancy Pelosi, man, I think she just really fouled out at how, some people broke into her house and beat up her 82-year-old husband.
Yeah, that's
You know,
crazy.
that's real crazy. But I think those are, as you and I were discussing earlier, attacks and things like this going down may lead to a very assumed civil war in this country.
I agree with that. I agree
Yeah,
with that. Listen, the way people are acting and the way the world is going, these laws that are coming out, we not too far off from a reaction like that to get people in line. So we're
yeah.
it's little things like that, little acts like that of people getting robbed in their home. Like he's 82 years old. Why you got to beat up an 82-year-old? Like there's
Like
a
for
bigger
real.
picture to that.
Like for real. There's no justification for that whatsoever.
Right.
You know, and violence is not always the best answer. But if it comes to violence, don't be hating on black folk. We ready. Shit. We ready.
It's a
Yeah.
fact.
Just like you training yours, we training ours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we ready. Yeah, man. That's crazy. Tell me about that thing you were telling me about these kids dressing up as inmates and things.
Oh yeah, so there was this group of kids. Everybody expresses themselves on Halloween. Everybody wants to dress up or whatever, but there's a level of disrespect that you just can't cross. And there was these group of white kids, probably like 15, 16, and they were like in Walmart,
Mm-hmm.
and some lady was confronting them. She confronted them and she was like, "Yo, like you think this is okay?" And they were dressed up as inmates. So it was two police officers, like two like young female police officers,
Okay.
and like three kids. And the kids dressed up as inmates. They had the whole jail suit and they painted their whole face black. Like you could clearly tell they're all white, but painted their whole face like some blackface shit, and that's corny. And some
Are
lady
we
was just
talking
like,
about blackface?
yeah, like
Yeah,
did you
we're
see
talking
those
about the
kids?
blackface that he was explaining the story.
Yeah, like there was some, yeah. So like, and some lady was educating them, like, yo, this isn't right. Like, you could get a scholarship revoked if you have scholarships for college. Like, you won't be able to get school certain jobs because of this. Like, and that's absolutely true. Like, y'all remember that Karen that confronted someone in the park in Central Park? She lost her job. She tried to file a lawsuit and lost the lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is real. Like, when you really disrespect the race at that level, you could there's repercussions that you'll face for it down the line. So. Word. I hope them kids. And it's funny, like I went in the comments, I looked in the thread, I got their Facebook names. Like somebody found their Facebook names and tagged them. I got their Instagram. Like I was
And the
ready to
crazy
send them
part
some
about
hate
it is
mail.
they're playing a real dangerous game,
Exactly.
Dudley had brought it up a while ago. Remember? You
Do you
want to
know the
jump on that?
message? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, remember when you were talking about that a while ago about when it's too far?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I put a message out for Halloween. And I'm going to let y'all hear what the message was. Because I feel like there's certain things that you can't do. And it's not funny. So my message.
Unfortunately, nobody whooped their ass.
Exactly.
And here was my message on Halloween. If I see a white person dressed as a black person this Halloween trying to be funny, I'm going to dress up as a cop and I'm going to beat your ass.
That's actually a good one right there. That's a good one right there. Oh shit! You ahead of the game with that one.
Yes.
Hey, we may have to make a pact to do that next year.
You know what? Honestly, I don't even think you have to wait till Halloween because you're dressing up. So if you feel like you want to dress up and cosplay, and you want to cosplay black, but I'm dressed the fuck up as LAPD
or
NYPD, I'm a Rodney King your motherfucking ass. I'm gonna beat the brakes off your ass since we're all dressing the fuck up and we want to play.
Shit.
Yeah, like and then what makes it worse is that like they know. You know what I'm saying? Like like that's not right. Like it's not even appropriate for Halloween. Like like there's certain things that you'll have a pass for, whatever the case may be, but shit like that ain't right. You feel what I'm saying?
I mean, it's not appropriate for any time of year.
Yeah.
You understand? What up, John?
Hey, John Mikes.
John Mikes, what up?
Welcome back. Always nice to see you.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. We're talking about a civil war potentially hitting this country real soon because people are just getting indignant.
Aren't we already having little small mini civil wars though? It's just modern day times.
Yeah.
Niggas just ain't out here with guns, muskets, and shit, fighting over.
It's a political civil war right now, but like we feel like that'll lead to like full all out arms.
Oh, now.
Like that Purge movie, that shit scares me because not because it's like a scary movie, because that shit is so realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, the Purge is already happening in New York. The Purge is already. Y'all didn't read about that?
Nah.
The Purge is a real thing. Just not in the sense of what we've seen on TV. They are releasing, if they haven't already, they're releasing a certain number of convicts back into the population, and it's called the Purge. Don't believe me? Somebody got their phone right now. Type up Chicago Purge, and it should come up.
Wow.
Oh, in Chicago. I mean, but Chicago's a war zone though. I ain't gonna lie, I'd be scared to go to Chicago. Like the hood, the like.
Chicago's a little. Woo.
I think here's what I think. I don't think Chicago is any worse than LA. I don't think it's any worse than Houston. I don't think it's any worse.
No, I don't mean worse than, but I mean like releasing a law like that is just full on.
Nah, yeah, I mean,
crazy.
I'm not trying to compare it, but it's still bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so this is why I say that. I don't think it's any worse than anywhere else. When it comes to like major cities that have violence, because major cities, especially popular major cities, tend to have more violence, right? Like I said, New Orleans, that you're going to see more of what the media is going to show you. So the media tends to show you a lot of what goes on in the Chi. And I've met some people from Chicago that are offended when you call it Chirac, because that's not everybody's experience. But
there's some nice parts of Chicago. I used to go every year. Man, that place is beautiful. So especially after they died at Charles River, it's a great town to party in and hang out. It's great.
So I'm gonna speak for the population of people that don't. I'm not a fan of Chicago, but however, no offense to anyone, but I do have a lot of friends that are from the Chi, born and raised, and some of them do get offended when they hear Chicago compared to or the term Chirac, because again, if you move to Houston, depending on what you're around, what your experience, and what the media is covering, Houston is fucked up, and I'm from there. Same thing like New Orleans. At one point, New Orleans was the capital of the U.S. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, about it, Master P movement.
I got a question. Damn, I kind of want to. It's also one of the topics. Because you mentioned Houston, and where like
I was gonna get into that. I was.
Yeah, I was trying to like.
That for last.
All right, so we'll just say, you know what? I'm not even gonna. We'll just bring that back later. My fault.
Yeah, I'll come around. I'll come back around to it because that's deep. Because we gotta
get. Yeah, because you had mentioned Houston, so like, where, but like that's a sidebar. We'll get into that later. But where I agree with you though, like, yeah, any major city could be dangerous. You know, some are more dangerous than others. But at the end of the day, that doesn't take away from the fact that these murder rates are high. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. So, and like the amount of people that have guns too, like in all these cities, and like the range of ages of kids who have guns too. Like there's kids that are like 12 years old carrying 2 Glocks.
But do you know what the difference is between kids killings in Houston and Chicago? Here's the difference. The difference is our gun laws. Our gun laws are so relaxed. The number of killings doesn't change. We got school shooters like a motherfucker. What does change is the laws. So if you have gun laws, no. If you have loose gun laws, we're not going to be reporting on a whole bunch of murders. We're going to report on our fair share. You understand what I'm saying? But
it's outrageous, like school shootings, like Uvalde and stuff like that.
So for us, this type of shit that happens in Chicago is the norm. Because we have lax gun laws, you see, throughout Texas.
Where like y'all licensed to carry, like how everybody has a phone in their hand. In Houston, everybody got their Glock on them when they go outside. That's a fact. Like you can't really do that in Chicago or New York because we're not legal to carry. So I agree with you. Like somebody in the streets in like Chicago or New York, we'll get into it and we'll get in a fist fight. Or I'll pull out my pocket knife, you pull out your pocket knife. But in a city like Houston or down south like Atlanta where gun laws are legal, there's a lot more shootings that happen on just any regular situation or scenario. So I agree with you. I do see what you're saying. That does make sense.
In the state of Texas, we have a saying, and that's pretty much the phrase. Let me give you a phrase. In the state of Texas, we have a phrase called pop trunk.
Pop trunk?
Right? Pop trunk.
Okay.
Meaning, don't make
that
me
sound
go
gangster.
It is. Don't make me go pop the trunk on your ass. And I'm 44. So this has been since I was a kid. So our gun laws have always, and us being gangsters, has always been a thing. Texas is the wild, wild west. So when I look at places like Chicago, I look at, well, of course, it's going to look worse because we don't have the same gun laws. So you're going to have a whole lot worse of report on the media versus what we're going to have because we have a more relaxed, it's the same situation.
Yes.
It's the same shit. You understand what I'm saying? But until it's a school shooter, for us, it's like our local news is reporting this shit. But you also have to look at Chicago's getting a lot of notoriety. Yeah. Chicago's also getting a lot of notoriety because of rappers.
True.
And you have to be honest about what's going on. We're not talking about innocent rappers. We're talking about like Vaughn. These motherfuckers was actually out in the streets doing
demons. Like Vaughn was a demon. I ain't gonna lie, Vaughn was a demon.
And you have to admit that. You understand? So when we start talking about the violence and shit and black on black violence, we have to be very honest with some of this shit is caused by
us.
All kinfolk, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You understand?
No, but the problem is, and I guess that's the message out there, right? We need to stop this black on black crime, right? Because we're doing the favor of the purge ourselves.
I got a question. Do you think a civil war will help stop the black on black crime?
No.
Oh, that's a hard thing. I disagree with y'all. I disagree with y'all. Oh, I disagree with y'all. We gonna come together. It's gonna be us versus the white man. We got strength in numbers. I feel like we smart enough. Like God forbid, speaking hypothetically, if there was let's say there was a civil war next week, boom, news drop Sunday. Once midnight hits, Monday morning, Monday midnight, purge active. You got to get together with your peoples. I feel like us black folk as community, like we'll link up and we got the strength in numbers.
But the problem is that one of us.
It does sound good. Come on, let it sound good. Let it sound good.
It sounds great. It sounds great. But there's gonna be some house dude.
I agree with Malika.
And that's not what's gonna happen. Before it even gets to that, here's what's gonna happen. Again, Willie Lynch theory over and over. Old, young, light, dark, rich, poor. It ain't gonna have shit to do with color. What's gonna happen is, don't forget, we got some uppity skin folk, I'll say, that are not gonna want to participate in that shit because they're rich. They've made it. You gonna have some white folk that ain't gonna want to participate in that shit because they cool with the bros. You understand? The dynamics of the world has changed. It sounds good, yeah. Maybe back in the 60s, the 70s, that shit would have rocked, but now it's too many. What does Dave Chappelle call it? Nigger rich. It's too many motherfuckers.
I got faith. I got faith in my fellow peoples. I got faith in us.
That's fine, but realistically, you have to look at it's not going to be politics. It's going to be rich black people not wanting to give up what they have fought so hard to have. Now I'm in a position of means. I'm in a position of
that's black folk too. But anybody that made it.
No, but I'm saying people that are of color are not going to want to participate in the.
Oh no, they're not going to help us. You know what? Their houses are already purge proof. We can't get in.
Yep.
That's why I said it's going to be a purge, and we're just going to kill each other. It's going to be all the poor people against all the poor people. But the problem is, if there are race wars or something along those lines, it's going to be the poor blacks against the poor whites, right? Yep. And then who else is going to join in? I mean, we still got our Latino brothers who may be fighting against both of us.
And if you don't believe what she's saying, Donald Trump being in office just showed y'all. Everybody was so blind. Oh, he's a racist. He's a fucking opportunist.
That's exactly what he was. And we've had this conversation far too many times.
Not only is he wrong with me is, I want you to look at who voted for him. Hispanics. Yeah. So when you look at your theory on what you're saying, Dennis, we just did this not even a year ago, not even 2 years ago.
There's black people that support Trump too, though.
But they're rich. That's what we're saying. But
they're rich.
You got a point.
It was average day Hispanics supporting this dude.
It was, and get it. It was a lot of black supporters that didn't want you to know because of the backlash that they supported Trump. And it wasn't until Biden got in office, you seen all these people that were black. It was like, man, Trump should have stayed in office. Trump should have. So when you look at the reality, we just came out of that reality. We can sit there and say, oh, he was racist. He was, that motherfucker was about his money.
Yeah, he was about his money. No, yeah. No. All right, that's the whole. I like that's another comment. All right. So in terms of taxes and like how to get around and how to like maximize your business potential, like Trump was doing the right thing for an employer in the state of America. So like, I mean, in the country of America. So like, of course, there was a lot of people, a lot of successful people, a lot of people who own businesses or even small businesses
military
that wanted Trump. Yeah, military people too. Like, I agree with that. Trump was doing a lot of things right for the country in terms of making more money, because that's what he is. He's a businessman. Like the Donald Trump I know was the dude that was like, you're fired. You feel what I'm saying? Like he had a whole.
I'm gonna take a step further. The Donald Trump that I knew was the one that hung out with the likes of Spike Lee, was friends with Russell Simmons. He was in most of the black rap videos. See, people forget all this shit.
Oh
yeah, but that's promo though. That's trying to be down. Donald Trump was trying to be down. He wasn't really down with them.
But here, let me explain something to you. You're from New York. I'm from the South. Let me tell you something about racism. Real racism. I've been all over this world, lived in New York, got a crib out there, right? And so I've been around. I know the racist vibe in New York, and the racial vibe in New York and Jersey don't by no means compare to the South, right?
Yeah.
When a white person does not fuck with you because you are black, they don't give a fuck about promo. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You a nigga, you're gonna be a nigga tomorrow, you're gonna be a nigga today, and that's what it is. That ain't got shit to do with promo. You understand what I'm saying? Now, once they stopped fucking with him, had nothing.
Hey, Yellow Rose, facts.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with anything else. It had to do with politics. So these black men had to get away from them to protect their brand. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the smoke and mirrors. Trump went on Oprah and said almost 20 years ago, guess what? I'm a Democrat, but I'm going to run as a Republican. You know why? Because I know Republicans are stupid enough to vote. And guess what? He did it.
And they did
yeah, I agree with that. But he's a businessman. You don't think him being cool with black people was a business move?
These are all facts. Going to what you're trying to say about a civil war. No, we don't move. As humans, it's great to have optimism. It's great to be optimistic. But even when told him, when they say build that wall, Jimmy would be so mad at me right now if he's watching. Even when they told him to build that wall, I mean, shit, it was our own kind. Remember, I'm the Hispanic. I'm Afro-Latin. It was my own people that was like, hell yeah, build that motherfucker.
Yeah.
It wasn't white folks. It was some. It was a Hispanic population. You know why? Because they were taking jobs from the Hispanics that were already, now, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's not for me to judge, because I quite frankly don't give a fuck. As long as I got a roof over my head, my lights, what other people, what you shit don't make me eat. However, the reality of it is, it was Hispanics that wanted that wall built. It was Hispanic Karens that you're starting to see. It ain't just white women you're starting. You know how many fucking Hispanics that I've seen tell Arabics to go where the fuck they came from?
Tell who?
I have seen Hispanic Mexican women from LA telling, there's a whole video where she assaulted a Arabic or Indian woman, told her to go back to her fucking country.
The nerve.
So we can't pretend like this shit started with Trump, because just even in LA alone, Hispanics don't get along with blacks. That's been a fucking problem.
Oh yeah.
Even in New York too. Like when I was in high school, there was black versus Spanish beef. That was a real thing. Like.
So all this pre-existing shit got dumped on this dude. The previous, he was Obama's successor. People don't realize what happens in office before somebody else has to carry that torch. Do you understand what I'm saying? And people don't understand how that shit works. They really don't. So was he a great president? Fuck no. But when is the last time we had a great president? I mean, let's just be real.
My president is black. My Lambos. Nah, let me stop.
I don't give shits about Obama looking like me, because
I don't know.
Motherfucker.
I don't really believe in presidency too much. At the end of the day, I feel like they all controlled by a group of other people. So it don't matter who's the president. That's just the face for the country. But motherfuckers is pulling them strings, man. That's who we really got to get out of the position of power. All them old white people who got.
But people won't go vote. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean,
A lot
I
of
agree.
people ain't
I agree.
registered to vote. They
I
need to
agree.
get their ass out there and vote.
And it's not just
Otherwise, you
voting
can't
for
say
the
shit about
president and
shit.
vice president. It's voting for the governors and mayors and other, like, you know, small time, not small time, but like those that adds up, because if you get certain people in those positions in state and, you know, at
They
least the
control
Congress, like, it's a chain
everything down
effect. So
below.
we do need to
But
be more
listen, we talk
aware
about
and informed
everybody.
on voting, because that is true. I do agree with that.
We
Hey,
talk about
Dutchie, before you
the vote.
start, let me jump into some of these comments. Brian Brady, I know it's been a minute, brother. I'm sorry about that. All right, so he says
You,
all of
you,
it's going to be a bunch
yeah,
of poor white people fighting against a bunch of poor black people, and people are going to still hate each other. Other at the end of the day, just have a couple million dead, which is a damn shame, but I believe you are telling the truth, my friend. I believe you are. And then Brian also says, if anything, Donald Trump is a classist, the haves versus the have-nots.
Yep.
Since I was always been of America, yeah, and will always be. And that's just the way. That's the American way, man. That was the American way, which is some bullshit. All right.
Are you done cutting me off at the knees?
Huh?
I said, are you done cutting me off at the knees?
I'm sorry. It was 20 minutes in. Those comments have been sitting there for like 10
Now, yeah,
minutes.
we got to get the comments in. You know, they here for us,
Keep
so you
going,
know we
though.
got to interact with the
Anyway,
people.
anyway, I think when we really look at a lot of shit, again, in order to vote, you have to understand how the system works. It's easy to say get out there and vote, but a lot of people don't even know the difference between the Senate, the House of Representatives. Most people don't even know anything about their governmental system. They don't know how the process works. They don't even know what the fuck electoral votes are. So in order to vote, you need to know the difference between an elect.
Facts.
You
There's
need
an
to know the
electoral
difference.
college where, yeah, there's a
You
lot. There's a lot. There's a lot
So
of
before you
information.
decide to vote, or before we decide to vote, what we really need to tell people is, do you understand how this shit works? Because
And do some research. I mean, it's
a lot
all
of people
out there.
feel as though if they haven't been taught. Not everybody went to school. We have the assumption that a lot of people know these things, and some people, because of their age, they might be embarrassed. So a lot of people won't openly admit that they have no idea, or they just vote. They're proud because they voted. But do you really know anything about your vote? And then there's people that does know how it works, and that's why they won't vote.
Yeah, like it's a
Your vote does
double edged
not
sword at the end of the day.
your
Like,
vote always counting is a motherfucking lie. That's
I
not
know it is. But the sad part about it is, I think that right now that may be our only avenue.
yeah, I feel like whether we're educated or not, we should still vote, and that'll encourage the community on being more educated about what they're doing. Because a lot of people want to do something, but they also want to know what they're doing and know what comes behind it. So
That's like
I feel like whether, because I remember
crack.
learning that in high school, and
And
in
I know
high
you
school,
don't know
like
how
a
to
lot of,
spell crack.
like, it was.
Wait. We cut each other off.
Yeah, Dutchie, yeah, you keep on cutting me off. Like, I remember in high school, like, we, like, a lot, it was part of the curriculum. Like a lot of people had that class, and like it was just boring. Like, you know, nobody was interested in it, and it's like you got to self educate yourself about that, because that's just not a popular topic for most people, especially most minorities and most young people. So I do agree. Like, if we start to inform ourselves a lot more and like have these conversations and actually vote, go and vote and participate in that, we'll be able to make the right step into making an impact. So,
all right, that's what you got, babe.
I completely disagree. I think that's the equivalent of telling somebody, "Hey, bro, I know you don't know how to sell this crack, but here, I'm gonna give you this shit. Go out there, sell it, and in the process, figure it out." You can't now. You don't tell somebody.
How? Yeah, that's how it's actually. That's how a lot of people.
Let me get the floor.
Sell crack.
You don't. Let me get the floor.
Yeah, Dennis. Minutes. You don't let her howl.
You don't take somebody and throw them to the wolves just because it's beneficial to us to gain traction. You don't. That's an empty vote. It's not a real vote because they don't understand what they're doing. It's just saying, "Hey, this counts. I need you to go do it." But it doesn't count if you don't really understand what the fuck you're doing and of why you're doing it. You're just doing it because everybody says that you should, and that's what you just said. Well, yeah, I think.
Now, what I said was that if people vote, it'll lead to a lot of people educating themselves more on voting and why, like, because, like you said, like that's exactly what I said. If people vote, they're gonna want to understand what comes behind voting. What am I doing? How is this gonna impact?
Behind voting first before you vote, though, that's bass backwards.
Yeah, but nobody votes anyway. There's people that already for years been going to vote and not knowing what the fuck they're doing. So now they need to educate themselves, and that's what I'm trying to
Before they
say. Like,
vote, though. I don't think you should vote before. I think that's completely politically incorrect, and I think it's morally incorrect because that's basically saying, hey, we need you to understand that your vote counts, whether it does or whether it doesn't. We know that you don't understand any of this shit, but if you vote now, you can go back later and figure it out. Nah, bruh. No, that doesn't. No, no. You have to know what you're doing because you make mistakes like that. We got a lot of motherfuckers in office because people didn't know what they were voting for and they felt like they had to vote.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people that at the end of the day, now they have regrets because they didn't know what they were voting for. They didn't understand how the system works. And now you got somebody that sucks ass because of the 10, 20 people that felt 20,000 people that felt like they had to vote, but completely didn't understand the system or how it works or why they're voting or what it took to get there to make this person a candidate. Like, what do you really know about this candidate? Other than watching them on TV debate, a lot of people have no idea what charities that they're with, what any of their past, other than what they've said in the debate.
Yeah,
So
facts. I mean, I think we got to agree to disagree on this topic, y'all. Yellow Rose said, "Shout out to Young Dennis."
where shout out my boy Yellow Rays. What's up? What's up?
Oh, I'm sorry, I said Rose. See, this is why I need
yeah,
glasses. My bad.
But I don't got my glasses on. I
wow.
had to I had to get all up close
No,
and
you're
personal.
right. It's Young Rays. That's what I said. I called him up. All right, so look, let's talk about this Rihanna song, right? The new single, "Lift Me Up." So everybody's complaining that the song is a snooze fest, right? And that it's a boring song, but in reality, it was a dedication or a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. You remember the actor who played the original Black Panther that passed from cancer not that long ago.
Wakanda.
Forever.
Forever.
Are you forever, Dennis? Come on, bro.
Nah, I knew you was gonna chime in. See, we a team. You feel what I'm saying? I did the action. You followed up right behind me. That's what we do. That's the 1, 2, 3 punch. Like, come on, you know how we doing. Come on.
It's all love. It's all bad. It's all love. It's all bad.
Look, the panel is right here. We all right here.
I got you, bro.
My camera would stop tripping on me, man. I may have to move locations.
So this is how I feel about the song. I hate it. It is boring as hell, but I don't like it for other reasons. I dislike the song because, and now mind you, I am a Rihanna fan, diehard Rihanna fan. But Riri is not a vocalist. Let's start there. She's not. Number two, I think why people are not happy with the song and they're not looking because Rihanna hadn't put out music in 6 years. Yeah. So people were waiting for
bated breath
song.
Facts. That is very true.
And yeah, they were out with that. And people was like, "What?"
But if she would have dropped a tribute song with the movie, I think it would have gained more traction.
I agree. Like if she would have dropped it like around when his death had passed, like it would have correlated better. It would have sat better in a lot of people's stomach. But I agree with that. I also heard that she has an album on the way too. So I also feel like that's why she put this out now, just to for the tease, so like just to build up more anticipation for the album. More because like you said, y'all already been waiting for how long? Like 6 years, right? Yeah, word. So it's also a smart marketing aspect too. Like Rihanna, she got the Super Bowl coming. She about to drop an album. Like I don't know. Like
let me ask you something. So ASAP just went to court, right? In LA. How do you think this affects her music and what she puts out?
Not really. If anything, anything Rihanna does would affect ASAP because Rihanna's like, I fuck with ASAP. I'm from Uptown. ASAP from Harlem. He's right down the block. You know what I'm saying? Like we done been in the same environment. Like I fuck with the ASAP mob, but Rihanna's big time. Like Rihanna's like ASAP is known worldwide, but Rihanna's Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? She got Fenty. Like so, I feel like anything like. It's like it'll go over somebody's head. Like they'll talk about it today, forget about it tomorrow.
Yeah, like I mean, the girl came through. I have to completely agree with that. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, there's two of you.
Yeah,
we in for a treat today, fellas. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, we got two Malikas. Listen, look, you never know what's gonna happen on any Wednesday given night.
You really don't. You really don't. My bad. Mute that other one.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Nah, that was funny right there.
Oh my God.
Let me go get some water. Hold up.
You
That
stressed
boy
out.
got me thirsty.
I'm trying.
Excuse us, you guys. We're having technical. Malika's in the
Boom.
matrix, right? I, oh, this is definitely. Oh, I think it worked. No, but no. So then I agree with you because if you look at it, here's a woman that is not only the ambassador, ambassador of Barbados. Um, we've watched her come into the fashion industry and destroy the fashion industry as we know it. The girl that completely took over. Nobody talks about Victoria's Secret. They talk about Fenty now. You know what I mean?
Word.
So I agree with you in that regard. Of yeah, man. I think she's doing great shit. But yeah, the song. Have
You
you
know
heard
what's
it?
funny? I still haven't really heard the song yet. I gotta listen to it so I
You're
can
gonna
really
go to
judge the song.
listen to it before you go to bed tonight.
Alright.
Don't
It's
play
one
that.
of those. It's gonna put me to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up. I'm gonna tell Rihanna you said that.
Don't tell us she fine as hell, dog. Don't tell
That's
us.
what I'm saying. Like, come on, we gotta go. So I'm gonna give it a benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna listen to it when we get off, and I'm gonna rate
It
it.
is a song that it is a lullaby. It is a lullaby type of vibe. So if you got like a small child, you know
Okay.
what I mean. It's something that you know. So, bro, don't play that in the car.
Oh no,
Don't
yeah, that's not a vibe song. Yeah,
don't go to the
you know,
gym on the at the gym. Nah.
it's a piece to pay the respect to Chadwick Boseman. So I don't really anticipate it being a turn up song, but wait, I'm definitely gonna check it out. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm kind of low key excited for her album because I know she's probably gonna have some good features on that, and she do make good music. Like she's probably not, like you said, she's not the best vocalist. She
Yeah.
doesn't really have a good voice, but like whoever writes her music and like the way she flows in the song, like she nice. Like she be saying some shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I definitely do want to see what that album going here for.
We got Big Show down there.
Yo, Big Show, what up? The Aki way, never, never, never. Don't forget your Bev.
All right, we see you in
Come
the
on.
building.
What's up? We in the building.
Yeah, so I agree. Vocally, but you know, there's a lot of people that are like trash vocally. I'm not calling her trash, but just saying it's a lot of like rappers, R&B singers. But man, delivery and presentation makes all the difference. And Rihanna's got an edge to her sound. She's got a style. She's got a swag. So that's what makes her what it makes her.
Yeah.
Which takes me into artists that are that leave a mark and leave a footprint. The Migos changed the cadence to rap music. The cadence to rap music hadn't been changed in probably over 30 years.
Facts.
The riff,
They bought a whole new style.
yeah, they brought a whole new sound. So you have to give them their flowers and their just due for changing the cadence of rap music because now, whether you like it or not, the ad lib that came from the Migos. That was what they did. And it's very unfortunate. Again, you know, I always talk about social media, how it takes a life of its own when we report things and you don't have all the facts. We're not sure. So right now, I'd like to get into some things. And first, I'd like to start off by saying we're going to, most of this information I'm going to give you is alleged information
So
on
you do your pop culture bit real quick?
what's developing right now. We're already rolling, girl.
No, I got it. Go ahead.
We lost a 28-year-old young man. And if you look at the month of November, Vaughn and several other rappers, all of these young men were roughly around the age of 28. So we have a lot of people that spoke out. There's a lot of people that spoke out about what happened to Takeoff. I want to say Takeoff's real name is Kershawn Ball. I want to say 1/3 of the Migos crew. What's unfortunate is
Well, rest in peace, Takeoff, man.
Rest in peace, Takeoff.
And have some peace during this time and understanding. The craziest part about this is, as I was getting to the designer was one of the rappers. He was crying. He was upset. Not
Where
only
he gonna quit rap or some shit?
from how anybody's grieving, because we don't know these people personally. However,
No, we don't.
I must say this. Please stop saying you're done with rap music because of this shit. Because this is not associated with rap music. Everything that happens that's violent is not always associated with rap music. If a rock band has this type of issues, I don't hear people saying anything about white on white crime and fuck blues is killing people. People are killing people. The music ain't killing people. That's number one. What happened to Takeoff was an accident. It was a stray bullet. It was not over a rap beef. It wasn't over anything else. You know, it was nothing past that. So now we have all this. Oh, it was a dice game. It was this. Now it's being reported it had nothing to do with the dice game. It's also being reported that Quavo actually passed out after the shooting, because you have to think they're all related. So they're all uncle, cousin, and nephew. You know, and it's unfortunate. The last right now, there's a little beef. There was a little beef amongst allegedly amongst the Migos, with Offset, and you know they had the whole situation with Drink Champs, and you know, so none of these things were really resolved. Offset has changed his profile picture to Takeoff as of this morning. There's an eyewitness that doesn't want to be named. Now, here's where we're going to get into some things. If you know who Jazz Prince is, then you will know that he is the king of the South. And Jazz Prince is not nothing you want to fuck with on
Nah,
any level. I'm not even going to, and I'm me
can I
being
chime in? Can I chime in?
let me say this first. I'm not going to say too much on the Prince family being from where I'm from, so I'm gonna keep my commentary very short and sweet. But go ahead, Dennis.
Word. So first off, rest in peace. Takeoff. Takeoff, in
Yeah.
my opinion, was the most talented Migo in the group. Um, Takeoff was also the nephew, youngest, and right, he was nice. Like I fucked with Takeoff, and he always was laid back going out the group. You know, who said I got left off bad and bougie? You know what I'm saying? Like Takeoff was him. About the shooting, what I read, like I said, like you know, I wasn't there. This is all what I'm reading, information. I had read that it was an altercation between Quavo and somebody else from like you know another group of people, and they were arguing about like basketball or some shit. Like it had nothing to do with the dice game. Also, Takeoff wasn't even shooting dice. Takeoff was just chilling. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it was an altercation between Quavo and another group of people. It got escalated, and then somebody in Quavo's camp or on Quavo's side that he was standing on let off shots, and then the other people fired back, and then you know Takeoff got hit in the crossfire. So that just sucks because you know he was just like I said at the wrong place at the wrong time. You know who else was also at the wrong place at the wrong time? Jay
Well,
Prince Jr.
I
Jay
wanted
Prince
to
Jr.
so
This is not the first time he's been in the same
Dennis, I don't
type
mean
of
to cut
scenario.
you off. Dennis, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to finish reporting what happened with the HPD and so forth with the
Now,
actual.
I mean, yeah, let me finish real quick though, like real quick. So, where like Jay Prince Jr. That's not the first time he's been in that situation. There was also, I think his name was Duke the Jeweler. It was some jeweler homie from I think down south, and there was also a dice game night, and he had died around Jay Prince Jr. And Jay Prince Jr. is supposed to be representing the mob, and they're supposed to protect all these rappers and famous people when they come down to Houston. They're supposed to be moving comfortably. So that's a whole nother story with Jay Prince Jr. being around and
Mm.
Takeoff dying. But word, it's just a weird, funny coincidence how that's happening again.
Wow. Go ahead, Dutchy.
You finished?
Hmm.
Okay. So we have an eyewitness that actually came. She had just finished speaking to the HP to give the actual accounts of what happened. So Takeoff was actually sitting down. Um, there wasn't an argument that ensued that involved Quavo. Quavo was not involved in the argument. Actually, Quavo was trying to mediate an argument amongst two other people. And what happened was Takeoff stood up. There was a bullet that was shot from their camp. Unfortunately, that is misinformation because when you go and you're with the Prince family, you are not allowed to have any firearms. So they were already searched his before they went, but there was no firearm. This is from the eyewitness account this morning.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to before we start speaking on certain things, we want to the facts of what we're doing with our pop culture segment before we start trailing off into other things, and actually get the actual facts out. So none of that was any of that happened. Actually, they were searched. His camp was not allowed to have a firearm, so there was no firearms from that part of the camp. Um, there was no argument over a dice game. There was no argument over a basketball game that involved either of the Migos boys. It was a simple well, not simple, but it was a situation of trying to mediate some shit, and people have been passing around, and that's kind of what the eyewitness and another witness have had an issue with, is these 30-second clips that are being passed around and people kind of putting these narratives out without having the actual information on what actually happened. So this information came from the young lady that had just left. What up, established?
What up, established? Yep.
So there's going to be a lot of extra shit. There's going to be a lot of speculation. And because it's an unfolding situation, again, I personally, me being from Houston, I know better. I'm not going to get into the family and all that other stuff. It's not something you really want to get into unless you actually know. Right now, I think what's really upsetting is that the video is being passed around. I think that's highly inappropriate to pass that type of video around because he is somebody's son.
Yeah.
He is somebody's cousin. He's somebody's brother, somebody's father. And they have to live through the trauma of watching this man murdered.
Over and over again, yeah.
They do have a person of interest. HPD actually did go out and do a press conference yesterday. They did not have a person of interest as of yesterday. They were actually asking for someone to come forward because everybody's accident, but nobody's actually given up any names. As of today, they do have a person of interest. They have not named the person of interest, and they've actually had 2 eyewitnesses to comment that do not want to come forward because they are all friends of the Prince family. And that is pop culture.
I mean, at the end of the day, we wasn't there, so we don't really know what happened. This is all shit that we reading and shit, so we all gonna go based off whatever we read. But it just sucks that Takeoff is dead. You feel what I'm saying? And like obviously everybody was trying to paint the picture of a dice game, and all these rappers need to stop being at the dice game. Like we both know, like Takeoff wasn't playing dice. You feel what I'm saying? He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it just sucks that he had to be the only one to get hit too, and where he died. Like that shit is just whack. But what's crazier is that the fact that Jay Prince is supposed to be protecting these people, like regardless if that situation was to pop off. Takeoff or Quavo should have never got hit. They shouldn't even have been able. They shouldn't have been a part of that. So the fact that Takeoff is dead under Jay Prince Jr.'s watch, really, that's a story. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like there's just something funny about that. The word.
I think in some situations, we have every right to have, especially with the way that Black men are being gunned down, and especially with the shit that's happening in the industry. However, I do feel like everything that happens to us is not a conspiracy theory. I do think that some things just are what they are, until otherwise. Can you prove a conspiracy? No, not all the time you can. That's why it's a conspiracy. It's not meant to be proven. Now we can speculate. There's a lot of things we can speculate right now because of what just happened. However, I think it's unfair to the families, especially if this speculation is so far-fetched or so far from the truth, and you have somebody that was actually there, his nephew or his cousin or his relative, and then his friends that actually have to keep coming back and reading and watching the blogs, with the assumption of it's something. So could it be an accident? It's being reported as an accident. So for me, I don't think I would personally feel comfortable speculating anything more than that.
Cool.
I mean, yeah, it just sucks that he died. Like, that shit is whack. Like, I don't know. I fucked with Takeoff. I like the Migos as a group. I like them individually. They make good music. So I'm sad that he had to go like that.
Yeah.
He was definitely known as the most laid back. He was definitely known as the most out the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that they might not have been a group that was out a very long time. So no, you can't give them legendary status.
They've been out for a minute. Hell yeah, they've been out for almost a decade.
Yeah, but we can't.
That's still not. That ain't no Elton John 70 years.
Yeah, you can't.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that, but they definitely they're very popular and like.
Oh, they are.
They got hits. They got hits. Bad and Bougie is a global hit. Like shit.
But what I'm saying is, I think even though we can't put legend on this man, I think because he was such an out the way dude, and because he was such a in his own lane, quiet guy, his death, I think, is going to change something in hip hop. Not everybody's death. You would have thought that with Nipsey. I didn't know who Nipsey was till he died. I'm just gonna be straight up with you.
Nah, that's crazy. Nipsey, he a real one for real.
But I'm from Cali, so I expect
that's not to take away anything from him, but his music wasn't so great that, and I'm a music head, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't so. Did I know hear his name? Yeah, but Nipsey wasn't. And when he died, I'm not a hypocrite. I didn't go like download a whole bunch of his shit because, and I've listened to it since he's died. His music doesn't do anything for me. But him as an individual and what he stood for and what he does, I completely respect it. I think he did great things for his community, you know. But no, I did not know who he was. There's gonna be some people that I have no idea who Takeoff is. You know what I mean? The who, the what? You know what I mean? We're gonna have to play a song for them. What's the shit with Ric Flair? For them to actually probably even know some of the older groups who he is. But because of who he was and because they did make their mark in music and him being how he was, I do think it's gonna have an effect.
Yeah.
I think people are gonna look at the fact that a dude that completely had no dog in a fight of anything going on with shit, stays completely out the way, gets hit by a straight bullet. If that's not a wake-up call that, you know, shit is really just that fucked up, you know what I'm saying? So I think that is going to do a little wake-up for a lot of people. Maybe worse, maybe better. Who's to say?
Word.
That's what's up. Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and bring this one to a close.
All right.
Thanks for joining, everybody. And those who will be watching later, we appreciate you coming out and checking out the panel. Y'all have a good evening.
Shout out to everybody. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.